Hey creators, we are back with the board, and today we will be talking about how we can trick our brain so we can manifest a new reality. So let's say we are in a certain reality. Obviously, we are in a certain reality. I will draw like a box. This box is the reality that we are in at this moment. And okay, this is current reality. This is current reality, and if we want to step into a new box, why I'm putting box as a reality? Because our reality is always the extension of the quantum field, or the field of infinite possibilities. And if we want to manifest a different possibility, a different reality, we will manifest a new box of reality. And when we will want to change it, we can just change it. We can again step into a field of infinite possibilities and manifest a new reality. It works like that. It's actually sounds like a simple thing, but the whole process depends of how much we are truly brainwashed, if we can say that way, how much we truly believe that it's not possible, how much we are truly believing into our reality, that this is all there is. It all depends of our perception, because our reality is a reflection of our perception, and it rhymes, which is amazing. Perception. Okay, our reality is a reflection of our perception. And from previous videos with the board, from I think 20 days ago, between that I was traveling, so I was making different videos. But now when we are back with the board, before that I was talking about how, let's draw here a small guy. Sorry for the drawing, it's not like my other artworks, but it's enough to share with you how it works, how this process works. So how I was able to trick my brain, so I was able to manifest a new reality, the one that I really love. I really love my life. And this guy, from thoughts to emotions, from emotions to new thoughts, this guy is creating his state of being. So this process, I was explaining this process in more details. So when we are thinking the same way for a long period of time, we will be feeling equal to how we think. And if this process is happening long ago, for a long time, our emotions will create more thoughts based on the state of our emotional state. And when thoughts and emotions will be constantly the same, we will create a state of being. So this is the state of being, the circle of thinking and feeling. And if this process starts with thoughts, which creates feelings, what is creating thoughts? Our perception is the way how we are thinking, how we are seeing the world, that's how we are thinking, and that's called our perception. So our state of being is the result of our perception, right? Our state of being is the result of our perception. So if we want to trick our brain, we need to add a story to our perception. We need to add a story. Add a story. I don't know if you can read this, but you can hear it. Add a story to your perception, and because of that you will trick your brain. Because if You will be persistent. It's not enough if you will do it for 1 or 2 days and then you will quit because you will say, oh, nothing happened in my reality, I didn't manifest anything, so I will stop because it's not working. It's how we are persistent with that. How much we... It's like building strength in a gym, building muscles. It's not happening in 1 day or 1 week or 1 month, but when we are consistent, we are building strength. And if we are consistent with adding a story to our perception, eventually we will create a new perception. Yay! New. And that's how we can trick our brain. And what it truly means, you know, from neuroscience, what scientists found out, that our brain reacts the same when we are observing the reality and when we are visualizing a certain reality. It don't find the difference between us seeing the reality with our eyes and visualizing a reality with our mind. So if we can visualize a certain reality, our body will react as it is in that reality already. So what will happen if we can trick our brain that way? So we can add a story to our perception. Our perception is made out of everything we know. We have that much of money, we have a certain friends which are like this and like that, and we are listening that kind of music, we are reading that kind of books, so we know that kind of stuff, and we have that kind of a job, we have that kind of a problems. That's all our perception. But we can always add something or change something. Let's say we want to add more money. It's like this box would get a little bit bigger. We have more money. And because we will not see the results as soon as we would like to see them, it's about belief. We need to believe into that story. So it's important to believe. It's important to believe into our new story. And I will share my personal story here, how I tricked my brain. Because if you know I'm an artist, you probably know that. If you're following me here on my YouTube channel, I'm an artist, I'm sharing my artwork, I love to create, I'm a creative person. And I decided almost 3 years ago that I will make a living out of my art. And it was the day when I started painting. So everything was new for me. I didn't know much about art. I didn't know where to sell it. I didn't know how much it's worth. And I didn't know anything. But I started adding to my perception. My perception was at that time, I don't know anything about art. That was my reality. I don't know anything about art. But what I add to my story was, I'm selling my art. So many people is interested into my artwork. I was adding my art is totally different than others, so people are buying it. I'm really rich man. I can do so much things. And it was all happening at the moment when I didn't even have the money to buy a new canvas for my painting. So I was doing canvases, my own canvases, because I didn't have money to buy them. But I was adding to the story that people are buying my art, people are interested into my art, and I was believing into that story. So I tricked my brain, and slowly I was stepping into my new reality. And what happened, suddenly I got a contact for having an exhibition. At the exhibition I've met a lot of clients. I started selling my art, and after 1.5 years from that beginning of adding a new story to my perception, I started making a living out of my art. And then things were going just upwards, and still everything is growing. This YouTube channel is growing, my art is growing, I am personally and spiritually growing, and everything is a result of that, how I was tricking my brain. So I was adding a story to my past reality, or let's say current reality. I added a story. I was believing into that story, which created a new perception, and new perception created a new reality. So that is the process we can do. So if we repeat it slowly so we can understand it, is our current reality is a reflection of our perception. And when we start adding a story to our current perception with a certain amount of belief, doesn't matter if you can see the results or you can't see the results, if you will be repeating that process of adding a story to your perception, slowly and eventually you will create a new perception, and the result of the new perception will always be a new reality. You will always manifest something new. So it's like you can find so many stories about manifestations, and each person who have manifested certain things will explain it a little bit differently. But what we need to understand is that if we want to change whatever we want to change in our reality, we need to add something. We need to make something different than we were doing before. So if we are seeing the reality the same way every single day, like I said, with same thoughts and same emotions, we will not change anything. So when we start to adding a new story to our current perception, that means new thoughts will create new emotions. Slowly it will create a new state of being. So that is the reason why we start manifesting a new reality. That is the reason. But if we are able to understand it, a new story with a belief is creating a new perception. In the background, we are changing our state of being. So we are also becoming a new person. So new perception will also add something to your state of being. So when we will step into our new reality, we will step into it as a new person. We can't be the same person, but get into a new reality. And that's what people are doing wrong sometimes, because they think that they will just visualize it and it will happen, but they will not change anything. Even if we manifest it, it will go on really soon. So you will see the change, you will feel the change, and if you will be working that way, by applying a change, feeling the change, being grateful for that change, you will be always able to manifest something new. And that is this process about tricking our brain, and it always works. So the story that I was sharing with you today about my art journey, it's just one story. There happened so many different things that way. When I was on my exhibition, I was selling at that time my first paintings, and if you can imagine, for an artist, it's hard to set a price for the painting because you don't know how much it's truly worth. And for me, I was at that time creating my artwork, I think 8 months before I had my first exhibition. I sit in front of each painting, and the first number that came into my mind, I wrote it down, and that was the price for the painting. And I believed into that price. So again, a new story to perception, because people said to me, you can't sell art for so much of money, let's say 500 euros or 1000 euros or 5000 euros or whatever. People say to me it's not possible, but I was adding a story and a belief that for me it's possible. So every time when a client asked me how much I want for that painting, I told the number that came to my mind for each painting, and I sold it for exact the same price every time. Sometimes people were paying me even more. That was my beginning, so that is the reason why I want also to share those experiences with you, not just my artwork, but I want to share also the background of how I started and what I've learned through that process. There's so many stories of manifestations in my life and I haven't shared all of them yet, but that's the reason why I'm doing this video. So currently I'm making a living out of doing art, out of doing these videos. I truly love, like I said, my life, and I love sharing those informations with you because I know that for some of you it will help, that you will be able to change your life, because I'm receiving more and more emails from people who applied those concepts or those methods into their lives, and they started receiving manifestations. They started seeing different things in their lives which they have explained them as something really amazing. So that is the reason why I'm doing it. And this is it for today. Start adding a new story to your mind. Whatever, wherever you are, doesn't matter where you are, start adding a story to your current perception. Believe into that new story. Doesn't matter how much you're earning, doesn't matter what kind of relationships you're experiencing right now. When you will add a new story to your current perception with a belief, you will create a new perception, a new state of being, and that new state of being will create a new reality. That is amazing. So this is it for today. Creators, my friends, I'm sending you lots of blessings, lots of love. I'm grateful to all of you, and see you soon. Peace.